Madam President,
Senator from Wyoming.
Wyoming became a state in 1890. It was the 44th state to enter the Union. And in 1893, Wyoming adopted our state seal, which also appears on our state flag inside the buffalo. And on that seal are two figures that tell the story of Wyoming. One figure represents the livestock industry and the ranchers and cattlemen of Wyoming. The other represents our mining heritage. Here it says mining and oil. And the miners that power America and have powered it for years. These two industries are instrumental to my state, but in terms of gross state product, no industry comes close to the energy industry. Wyoming is an energy-producing state. For over 130 years, these figures have stood as a testament to Wyoming's values: hard work, self-reliance, and providing for our nation. The Biden administration looked at that seal and decided Wyoming's way of life has to end. They wanted to unilaterally rip the mining symbol from our state's seal. One way they wanted to end this mining heritage was via the Buffalo Resource Management Plan amendment, which was a deliberate, calculated attack on our miners and an assault on every Wyoming family that depends on coal. Wyoming has, since 1986, been the #1 coal producer in the nation. We produce 40% of America's coal. So today, I come before the Senate in defense of the people of Wyoming and our rich energy sector. In a last-minute, desperate post-election attempt to promote his anti-energy Green New Deal scam, President Biden issued the Buffalo Resource Management Plan amendment to cripple Wyoming's coal industry. Biden's Bureau of Land Management zeroed out almost 500,000 acres of coal in Wyoming, shutting down the possibility of any future coal leasing. This is why I introduced the congressional resolution of disapproval with Senator Barrasso to overturn this reckless anti-Wyoming assault. We have the backing of the Department of the Interior, and we have the full support of President Trump. As I said earlier, Wyoming produces 40% of America's coal. The Powder River Basin holds more than 48 billion short tons, enough to power our nation for more than a century. The Biden plan would have destroyed thousands of high-paying Wyoming jobs, erased billions in labor income, and gutted the state revenue that funds our communities, and more importantly, our K-12 school system. Moreover, the Biden Bureau of Land Management and this resource management plan didn't just attack coal. It aimed to lock up federal land that belongs to the American people. While the Biden administration tried to shutter American coal mines, our foreign adversaries are ramping up production. Their coal is dirtier, their environmental standards non-existent, and their labor practices include child labor and human rights abuses no American would ever tolerate. Shuttering U.S. coal doesn't help the planet. It outsources pollution to the worst polluters on Earth and sends American jobs straight overseas. American coal, Wyoming coal, is the cleanest, safest, and most responsibly produced coal in the world. The most recent coal plant that was built in Wyoming was so clean that they didn't even want to report to the EPA how clean the emissions were, because the EPA had moved from a standard of most affordable to most attainable emissions. Well, attainability is, regardless of what it costs, if you can attain this level of emissions, you have to produce that low level of emissions. That is what makes Wyoming coal the cleanest, safest, and most responsibly produced coal in the world. The last time I visited that coal-fired power plant, where we have people testing the effluents and able to practice and provide experiments for new methodologies to produce cleaner coal, the Chinese were there in Campbell County, Wyoming, trying to learn. The Buffalo RMPA is national security sabotage disguised as a far-left environmental policy. President Trump has already made it clear if this resolution reaches his desk, he will sign it. He knows Wyoming coal is vital to his American energy dominance agenda. By passing this resolution, we will reopen 481,000 acres for coal leasing in the Powder River Basin, protect over 4,000 Wyoming jobs, safeguard more than $1.9 billion in labor output, preserve the revenue that keeps Wyoming schools strong, and ensure coal remains available to power America's future. I will not let unelected bureaucrats—
Time has expired.
I urge my colleagues to stand with Wyoming workers and to stand with affordable, reliable energy by voting to pass this measure. Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and I move to proceed to SJ Res 89.
Clerk will report.
Motion to proceed to calendar number 270, SJ Res 89, joint resolution providing for congressional disapproval under Chapter 8 of Title V and so forth.